Matt, have you heard about the biggest game update of all time? Everyone
Yeah,
is talking about it.
I have, yes.
And what do you think? Uh,
It's great. Because I definitely know what you're talking about. I definitely know what game you're talking about, and I didn't lie just 2 seconds ago.
have you heard about the reloading update in Counter-Strike?
Oh, I did. Yeah. No, yes. And it's causing a bit of a ruckus, I hear, a little bit amongst the community.
Yeah, I love Counter-Strike because they can't touch it, right? It's like it's set in stone. All the rules have been the way they are for like ever. And every time they
Yeah.
change a little thing, it's like massive upset and drama because the
Yeah.
game that people have been playing for 2 decades or however long has changed in the
Literally
slightest way.
decades.
Literally decades. So the reload update for Counter-Strike is that basically when you reload a gun, any ammo left in the magazine is thrown away, like a milsim game or something. They've tried to compensate for it a little bit by giving some weapons more starting ammo, and some of them actually got an ammo reduction, which is interesting. And the reasoning behind it is to just make reloads more intentional, try and make that more of a strategy as opposed to just spamming reload whenever you have a moment, whenever you have a breather, interesting choice. People are losing their freaking minds because I
don't blame them because it's a completely different playstyle at that point. Like you can't just spray, go behind cover after you've got, half your mag left, reload and try again, right? Like it's completely changes the philosophy of some fights,
Totally. And maybe at the high level, when you're like nailing all your headshots and you have recoil control perfectly mastered, you're like, sure, I don't need a full M4 magazine to drop somebody. But at my level, I might want every bullet in that magazine, I might really need that. So it certainly would change up my play style. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, and especially for weapons like the AWP, I think they only have like 5 rounds and 3 reloads total, maybe total.
Yeah, something like that. It got a pretty big nerf, and people were like,
and it's like, oh, you got 15 shots. It's like, well, if you take every single shot, but if let's say you took 3 shots, you've got 2 left. It's like, well, if someone rounds this corner and I've only got 2 shots remaining, I could be, and I missed one. I only got 1 left. I'm kind of screwed at that point. So you might have the incentive to reload, and now you just lost 2 rounds, right?
Well, and also,
so it really changes the way you think about it.
A big part of Counter-Strike is picking up guns from people who died, right? So you
also true.
You come in an eco round, maybe you're doing good, you start picking up the M4s and stuff that are lying on the ground. Well, if that M4's got 1 mag in it, you're like, great. Wow, I'm saved. Huzzah. Like I'm good for what? 1 engagement, maybe. I
think it's interesting that they're doing it. I respect the fact that they're trying things, but at the same time, I can
it came out of nowhere
understand.
though. So nobody knew this was coming, and as far as I know, it didn't get tested on a server,
like a public test. And
get some professional player feedback. Maybe they just knew everybody would hate it because anytime they change anything about the game, it's just going to be met with pure resistance. So they're just like, nah, we're doing it. And so I'm split on it because on one hand, I'm a big fan of developers with strong design sense and sort of taking community feedback, but not letting communities dictate the direction of a game. It's like, if you know what you want your game to be, just make it that way. And
I would argue though that they have they're not the ones in control. It's the community that's in the control because they've been playing this game for 20 years. Like
it's hard.
They want to play
point,
that
right?
game. They don't want to play another game. They want to play Counter-Strike, right? So I completely understand why people would be upset over the change. I am not in tune with the community though, so I don't really. I'm taking your word on like feedback and stuff like that. But I could absolutely see why this would rub people the wrong way.
I am not in tune with the community either. I mean, like there was once many, many moons ago that I was like pretty anti Counter-Strike, and I can understand if they update a map and they move a box, from one place to another, everybody's like, oh, my entire strategy and everything has been changed and it's ruined forever now. I get it. It's like, it's kind of legendary status of a game and you can't just change the legend, right? But It's interesting. I think it's funny. I think it's funny that this is like the whole update is like just the
unfortunately, they're down to 1 million concurrent players right now on Steam. So,
oof, really hit them hard.
Dead game. Yeah,
gut punch right there.
They have been growing every single month the last 6 months.
Bro, I'm buying that Counter-Strike stock right now.
That's crazy.
I'm taking my money out of index funds and I'm putting it into Counter-Strike. It's the gold standard.
And it hasn't been increasing by much, but like, 2% here, 3% here, but like it's actually been growing each.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you say
nuts.
like it hasn't been growing by much, but it's already like peaked. Like it's already playing at player counts that are just astronomical.
Yeah. So the all-time player peak was 1.8 million, and the peak of this month was 1.7. So like,
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been out for, a while.
A little bit. It's been around for a little bit. It's cool. Good on them. I'm glad it's still around. What's not going to be around much longer? Battlefield Hardline. I know your favorite game ever.
Where did we go? I was like, okay, we already talked about High Guard. We already talked.
Well, and probably FBC Firebreak too. But so Hardline
they just had a promotion thing going on for it.
Maybe, yeah, I think they have a promotion, but they also announced that they're done with major content updates for the game.
Oh, that might be, maybe they were doing like one final push and like, hey, please come play. And then no one probably did.
Before they push it off on its little iceberg out into the middle of the ocean. So Hardline is getting delisted on PS4 and Xbox One, and the multiplayer servers are going to get shut down on those consoles. Mm-hmm. And it's just another one of those interesting times where we go, right, multiplayer is a finite thing. Like, you can still get a CD of Halo and put it in your Xbox and play it and all that stuff. But it is weird when games are just like, for the most part, digital these days. And they go, delisted, which means for the most part, you're not going to be able to play it anymore. At least on a specific platform.
There was a single player, so you won't even be able to play the single player if you can't even buy that.
If you bought it previously to having it being delisted, then you can still play the campaign. But if you wanted to play the campaign on one of those consoles, like you only had a PS4 and Xbox One, and you wouldn't be able to buy the game anymore to play it. So
right.
Not that I think that's a big market. I'm sure it's like, one sale every once in a while type thing. But it is just weird, it's just one of those weird things. You're like, man, so like people who worked on this game, eventually one day they'll be like, oh yeah, can't really buy it anymore, or it's been delisted. It's just, it's kind of weird. It's like,
sucks.
Yeah,
it does suck.
I don't like it, man. I do want there to be, it's like, what's that initiative, the like keep games alive thing? I forgot what it's called. That they're trying to work around the legalese of like, how do you set up a legal framework for keeping games around forever? And even we couldn't figure it out because there's too many like weird caveats to the system. But I do like the idea of at least trying to find some sort of solution to keep digital games around. We've gotten far too comfortable with this idea of not owning anything.
We definitely have.
Yeah. I don't.
All your Steam games, you don't own them.
Yeah. So and likewise Firebreak, which is unfortunate, but I think we're seeing a lot of these. Firebreak's a little more in the like angled as a live service game, I would say, more so than like, Battlefield is generally, but
well, not anymore, but
I don't know. I don't really know what Battlefield is anymore. It's like they want the best of both worlds. They want their big AAA launch and like campaign, and then they're also like, we're a live service game, and you're like, but you're gonna come out with a new game in like 2 or 3 years. So like,
did you get a chance to play the new map?
Yeah, new map's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I think both maps now, high quality, decent.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. It's just once again, not enough of it.
For sure.
You play for a night and you're like, okay, I just played 6 hours of one map and it's like, cool. Do I want to play more? Not really right now because it was only one map.
I would love to see the data behind like them launching a DLC for, say, BF1, where it's got like 3 or 4 solid maps in it, and everybody's like, yeah, cool, new weapons, new maps, and new vehicles, and they all jump into it and play it for like weeks, right? Because that's what I would do with every major DLC on a past Battlefield game, is you're just like in it for a long time. You're like, oh, cool, I can't wait to like get this weapon and try this out and try out these new vehicles and learn all these new maps and all that stuff. And this time around, you're like, okay, cool. I'll get like a day or 2 out of it before I'm kind of like, all right, like,
Yeah.
what's next?
Yep.
And I don't know if that's just the growing gamer space of just
I was
like,
gonna say, is it just the way we play now? Is it the way that gamers play now? Is it like because we just have so many options available to us that we didn't really have like back then, where there's just so many multiplayer games, live service games out there? It's like, well, I play this for a day, but there's other things vying for my attention.
Yep, it's a tough market these days. Speaking of tough market, man, I'm just on fire with these transitions today.
God damn, you are, yeah.
Arc Raiders has gone from very positive to mostly positive. Can you believe that, dude?
Really?
Can you update a Steam review? Can you change it? Like if you've already made one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was thinking about that. I was like, are people just holding off on their Steam reviews until later and then?
No, I believe you can change it. Yeah.
Okay, you can go in and update it. That makes sense. Yeah,
it'd be pretty lame if you couldn't.
Yeah, I guess because you're like, this is the greatest game ever, and then it stops working the next day, and you're
more inversely, it has a really rough launch, and you're like, I want to give it an upvote instead now.
Yeah. So yeah, the review status of games are very alive and flowing as opposed to locked in and set in stone. So Arc Raiders has gone down to mostly positive. And generally speaking, the reviews are citing, no meaningful new content in a while.
Valid.
And there's a huge amount of cheating in the game.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I think it's more prevalent probably in the PvP stuff, but like...
yeah, obviously, yeah.
I've heard, I've witnessed, there's montages of it, of just like it being very rampant, and
yeah,
kind of sucks, I was talking a little bit about last week of seeing some AI anti-cheat stuff on the floor of GDC, and I'm like, let's get that stuff out there, guys. Like,
let's get it going.
People are coming down on AI these days, which is fair, but if we're going to get something good out of it, like, let the anti-cheats run wild, man. Let them just take those cheaters out.
So it's like just not enough content. I mean, I think it's pretty valid because it came out in October of last year, and since then we've technically got a new map with Stellamontis, but that was, I feel like, pretty much a launch map that was just kind of hidden behind. Yeah, like, hey, we just do a couple of things and you guys get it. We got it pretty quickly after release.
And also Stellamontis is kind of either you love it or hate it type map too. So if you didn't like it, then you're sort of like, well, I don't like that content. So where's the stuff for me? Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't think have they added any new weapons? I don't think they've added a single new weapon, have they?
I don't
believe so.
Think so. They've balanced
unless you count
bunch.
Like the legendary ones, but like the Aphelion, I think maybe was added. Maybe.
I don't know about that, but they did add some new. They added new enemies, mega sized.
The new bots are cool. Yeah,
and the new bots and stuff. But I also get the point of like, it's still more quadcopters and still more rolly balls. So you're like, it's not like,
which is cool. Those are dope. I love them.
Yeah. But
I love them so much.
Yeah. No, and I love Arc, but it is interesting to see the sentiment change a little bit. People are starting to get tired, and this is another case of live service game trying to keep up with the content.
I was gonna say, like, live service can never keep up with how insatiable people are.
Yeah. It's wild.
But also, I don't think that they've done enough. Like, I don't think. With that said, and I think it's because they didn't expect the success. I don't think they expected, hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, and so I think that's part of it. But
plus,
I don't think
those Norwegians, man, or Swedes, I guess. Those Nordics, we'll just call them. They take these big old vacations. Gamers.
And good for them.
Gamers are trying to get their content, and they're like having a nice work-life balance, spending time with their family, and we're like, What am I supposed to do? Keep playing the same maps
Spend
forever?
time with my family? No, my family is Ark. Get in there.
Yeah. I hope they can. I mean, gosh, that concept of that map that they're potentially working on, you're like, oh, that looks so amazing. You know, like each map in Ark Raiders is like epic. So when a new map drops, you know that player base is going to spike and it's going to be awesome. But also, it's like, it's been a while. We could use a little more arkening.
I wonder if the new map will be more endgame focused, because right now, and the reason I bring this up is we can transition very nicely into Marathon, because I played their Cryo Archives, but there isn't like really much of an endgame in Ark. Like there's like kind of there's a beginning and there is a bit of a middle, but that middle stretches all the way until the end, it feels like, right? Like you start to get some stuff, but by the, I feel like by the midpoint, you've got like decent weapons that will be able to fight Ark no problem. And like, I guess you could start going against like the Queen if you start getting some of the yellow legendary weapons, but it's like you have a beginning where you're really scrapping things together. But then by the end, like a couple of days, you're in the thick of the mid game, and that's the rest of the game, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have much of an end game. So I wonder if that new map will try to bring maybe more challenge and something different than the other ones.
They've tried some of the kind of raid-ish style content. It always turns out weird where it's like kind of buggy or doesn't quite work on the first go around. So everybody's trying it. And then you're like, wait, do the buttons not work? Is the system is this broken? And then it's like a time limited thing. And then you're like, oh, I guess
Are you talking like the bunker?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I guess this could have been cool if it worked.
In solos, it's just everyone's friendly because they're like, I don't want to be here. You want to be here? Like, nah, because I'm just doing this for my trials, guys.
Yeah, yeah. It is a weird ecosystem. I mean, I love the game, but it's sort of like weird to try and wrap your head around. Like, okay, there's the PvP side of it, and then the PvE side, and the PvP side doesn't really have a good path for it. It's just to like go out there and kill people, I guess. And then PvE is like very mission and objective focused and trying to get all your loot and gear.
Well, I said this before. I don't know if I said it on the podcast though. I think a really cool endgame loop, and maybe this probably will never happen. It'd probably take way too much time and resources. But if you could actually customize your base, like your room, and make it your own, that I think would just really elevate the endgame, because they clearly want to make sure that certain weapons don't become overpowered, right? They don't want you to be able to get a weapon and all of a sudden just absolutely dominate everyone you come across. Like, they're clearly going for a more accessible approach. And I completely respect that. And it's one of the reasons why the game is so fun. But you could have your, knickknacks and stuff like that, where there are some really hard, challenging things that you need to, maybe kill certain bosses, maybe kill, like certain arcs, and you'll get the resources from them. And those resources will then go into creating, kind of like what they do right now with their, like limited time events where you're making like a cabinet or something. You make a cabinet, but then you physically get that in the game that you can place down and like customize your room. And then you can change like the colors of the walls or what, and really flush it out. Like I said, would be a huge undertaking on the part of the developers that would be monumental, but that could be a fun gameplay loop to keep people like engaged long term for like, I have my room now and it's mine. And it took a long time to do it without it actually impacting the actual balance of the game.
I agree. I also wouldn't mind, because they've sort of created such a slow balance arc in the game where like even with the best gear, you could lose to somebody with some pretty basic gear if you're just not on it.
Yeah.
If your room like got upgrades where it's like, it makes it a little easier for you to, I don't know, craft some ammo or craft some base shields or something.
Yeah, there could be that too.
Yeah, it's like kind of improves your quality of life and the speed at which you can get back up to your base gear. It's like, cool. I'm fine. I'd be fine with stuff like that too, since only because there isn't that big of a balance difference at the end of the day between some of the stuff in the game. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So Marathon, man, I've been hearing some pretty crazy things about this. What's it called? Cryo
Archive. I was only able to play it last night, and it was only for 4 hours because the lads that I played with needed to take off. And the reason why I didn't continue on is because you can try, but you can't really play this with randos. So Bungie.
So this is the latest map for Marathon. And people have been pumped for it because their maps have, they range from, okay, that's cool, to, hey, this is really cool. And then Cryo Archive takes place on the marathon.
The ship marathon itself.
People are pretty pumped for it because it looks insane.
It is, and it is insane. Bungie sat down and thought we could make a very accessible game, that extraction game that appeals to a wide audience, kind of like what Arc Raiders has done, right? Where they make it approachable. And then they're like, no, we're not doing that. We're making one of the most hardcore goddamn extraction shooters you have ever experienced. I don't want to put it in the same league of like Tarkov in terms of difficulty, because Tarkov has got so many like systems and things like that that can make it really obscure and challenging for anyone to get involved with.
Yeah.
But from a pure mechanical, like, you need to figure this thing out, it is brutally difficult. So you are within the ship. And there's no like outside, there's no big open areas. There's technically some larger rooms where you can, like, you know, you got some movement to move around, but it is incredibly dense. And one of the things that you need to realize, at least when you're first learning it, is that the ship itself is an enemy. So not only do you have the Ark that you're going to be, not the Ark, sorry, the bots, the UESC that you're going to be fighting the entire time.
Yeah.
But then you obviously have other players that are lurking around in the shadows. But then, okay, how do I describe this? So when you need to extract, you need to pick up clearance cards or hack in the computer, which increases your clearance level. When you get to clearance level 1, that allows you to go through a clearance level 1 door, which then allows you to find more bots and more things to get your clearance up to level 2, 3, all the way up to, I think, like 7. I never got to there.
Wow.
But you need
and
to
there's
you
a
need
time
to get your
limit
clearance.
for this.
And there's a time limit. So you got 30 minutes, I believe, on the map. And that goes by real fast.
Yeah.
So you need to get to clearance level 3 just to even get the ability to leave the map. And so if you are, and they're physical, some of them are physical cards.
I kind of I like that concept where, like, you know, it's not like Hunt Showdown and you have a bad start or you're just not vibing. You're like, I'm going to peace out.
I'm just going to leave.
Yeah. No.
You can't do that here.
Okay.
So you have physical cards on you. The ones that are not physical is if you hack a computer, it will just give you like 3 blips on your bar to your next level on your clearance.
On your bar.
But that means that if you die and your team doesn't wipe entirely, but someone comes over and grabs all of your clearance cards, you now just lost a bunch of your progress towards being able to extract.
So they can get extraction ability by killing you and taking your clearance.
Yes.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what, yeah, exactly. So once you get clearance level 3, you need to then go find a terminal that lets you find the extraction point. So, and it's not, none of this is on the map.
Yeah.
If you run up to a station that will scan the area, the vicinity, it will then show you where this little place is. So you go over, once you finally found the extraction point. This is giving
me like vibes of GTFO, where you're like,
yes,
you have to type it in the terminal and then it's like, blue access is located here. And you're just like, oh,
not
God.
to that extreme, because that game gets kind of like in the weeds with it. But
yeah.
Once you find that, you then have 3 minutes to reach your extraction. You're like, 3 minutes? That doesn't seem... You have to run across the map. Like, it's not right next to you. So you have to, like, literally run to your extract. And because it's such a maze, me and my buds, we had one where we couldn't... We got lost. We literally got lost. We couldn't figure out where to go. And we lost all of our purple gear because we just... We ran out of time. Like, that was just it. We ran out of time. We got lost, and it sucked.
You got beat by the maze.
We literally got beat by the map itself. Now, that was frustrating. I won't lie. But I think it's because we just don't have enough experience with it, right? Like I only said, we put 4 hours in. Supposedly, once you kind of understand...
well, here's the other thing, too. You have to go in with a certain level of gear. You can't even go to the ship unless you're like, I'm bringing all this gear. So you're like, that's a tough sell on your first drop when the drop is like so high stakes. So
they do give you a free kit either once a week or only once total. That's blue, that will allow you to go in with like blue gear and get situated. We did that at like our second match just to get more comfortable with it. And that was nice. That was cool, Bungie, to do that. Cause like, yeah, you just need to go in and like live in this map to be able to figure it out. It's really fun. The stakes are high. When you encounter another team, it's absolutely just, balls to the walls, just madness.
Yeah.
when we got wiped once, and then we're just scrapping things together because we had like they took all of our weapons, they took all of our meds. Another team shows up, we're like, we're toast, right? We somehow blaze them up. They pushed into us really aggressively, thinking that they had the upper hand. I had Tom he was on a little perch just in a corner. I had like a Rainbow Six Siege angle, and we lit him up and we wiped him. And it was like, oh, dude, I remember it to this. I remember to this day. It was yesterday, but it was so cool that like I'm gonna remember it probably for a while because it was just that intense. My heart was pounding, right? So it has those moments, and I think that was our first raid we actually extracted from as well. We were able to get out. So it was
nice.
Literally 10 out of 10.
Did you see the spit?
The what?
The spit.
The spit?
The spit. I don't know what that is. It's, they have really weirdly named aliens in Marathon, and I could have picked the wrong race of aliens. I forget my Marathon lore, but there's supposed to be some sort of mega alien on here.
Yeah, there's supposedly an alien. I've not seen them, no.
Okay.
So that's the thing is we were just trying to, literally all we were doing was just trying to survive, get in, get our clearance up, and then extract, because that was about all we could do. There's a lot of ammo and health just everywhere, so you don't really have to worry about that too much, right? They will resupply you, which is quite nice. Yeah. But then you, like I said, you need to get your clearance level up to be able to get to like the harder stuff. And we never got to the harder stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's clearance level
Sounds
4
like
or 5,
you guys
I
have
think
to
6.
just race through it at some sort of breakneck speed.
Literally, you have to race through it, find as much clearance as you can, make sure you don't die, get to there's like different vaults that you have to unlock and stuff like that, and get into those vaults. It's cool. It's damn cool. I respect Bungie for making something this sweaty, but at the same time, I'm curious how it'll play out for your average players, because I'd like to think the people I've played with, Tomographic and my friend Sass, they are good players, you know, and this isn't their first rodeo with first person or let alone extraction games. And we were struggling to like even just do the bare minimum of getting out of the actual map. So
it's kind of cool though. Kind of badass that cool. Bungie's like, oh, you think you're a good gamer, do ya? Yeah. You're a little streamer over there, huh? I'll try this. Yeah.
It's cool.
That's sick, dude. It makes me want other games to try stuff like that, where it's like, okay, the rest of Marathon isn't that crazy, so you can drop in, have your little rounds, have some fun, but now you have this option of mixing it up. You're like, you guys want to get crazy? You want to go to the Marathon right now? We've got all our good. It gives you a reason to spend your good gear too, which is like, you know, that's like a fundamental problem with Arc Raiders, right? Is you're just like, you don't really have a lot of situations where you're like, you want to take in tons of good gear? Why? Like, I guess. Yeah. There's not really a big reason to. So, that's cool. It sounds like they really thought about a lot of things. Maybe they pushed it to the max. I saw a clip of, you know, Shroud, who's a streamer, very high skill streamer, playing the game, kind of echoing some of your sentiments too, which is like, he's like, I don't know how many people this experience is designed for. You know, he's like, I think it's super cool, but I'm also struggling, and I'm wondering like who's gonna make it through this and be like, this is the greatest thing.
And the thing is that it could be they are like, okay, we recognize that most people aren't going to beat the boss in this place, right? Most people, the majority of the player base, probably won't even see the boss.
The spit,
when, you know, it's got a name. I don't know I don't know what it's called. But once people get more comfortable with the map, that might change, and people be like, oh yeah, no, we know where all the key cards usually spawn. We know where all this, and this, and becomes, you know, there's a big learning curve to it, obviously. And so that could help out. But also it could just be like, hey, you want to go in and get some pretty good loot, you know, and there'd be a nice challenge. Well, then try, you know, go in to get to level 3 clearance, maybe level 4, try to do something, but then you're out. You just leave, right? Like you don't need to go beyond that, where you're doing like the really hard stuff and really pushing yourself. But that would be the more casual side of Marathon, but still rewarding people who, you know, are on that side of the spectrum of the game, right? So we'll see how it pans out, because it's dope as hell. Like I genuinely think it's a really cool experience.
And you know what? They might be pulling on some of their Destiny experience with the vaults and stuff, where those were just notoriously difficult. And sure, over time, once people figured out the formulas, you could basically be walked through it as a new player and more or less get away with a win. But like, it took a while to get to that level of knowledge to not just get wiped and die every single time. So maybe they're pulling on that experience and going, yeah, what if we kind of like put a little bit of that into the marathon, where it's like, it's just going to absolutely wipe the floor with people, but you're going to still be lured back to keep going up there and seeing how far you can get and getting more comfortable until people are like, all right, you want to go for like a boss run on the marathon? Like, we can do it. We know the layout, we know the timing, we know whatever. It's cool sounding. Yeah. I hope for the best. Marathon still seems to be like hanging in there player count wise. We're not seeing any sort of like major drop off or anything. I didn't check to see what happened after they launched this map. But you know, it's still there.
It's doing okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I care about the player count just because I want the game to get supported, but
yeah, I know we're kind of addicted to player counts these days, but I would only argue that it matters and that we're looking at it because people are like, hey, is this game going to make it in the long run? Do I want to invest my time in a game that's not going to be here? So it seems like Marathon's got some...
I don't think Marathon's going to get disconnected after a couple of months.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who needs to have a game last for years and years, then I think that's on you for being you. And that's okay if you need a game to last that long. But I don't think it needs to... I don't think it needs to be signaling that it's going to be here for like a decade for it to be enjoyable in the here and the now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. I'm glad you're liking it. It's nice to see Bungie doing something that's exciting. The alien looks cool, and I really want to see it.
Yeah, it does from the trailers. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what they look like in the original game, and I'm kind of nostalgic for OG Marathon. You know, they weren't like epic and whatever, like they're making it look way cooler than the original game. So I'm just really curious to see what the updated version of these classic designs looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. When it comes to live service, Apex Legends was in the headlines a little bit lately. People were complaining that they weren't doing enough to crack down on cheating, so they released
a tale as old as time.
They released a big old cheat kind of list of everybody they banned in like, I don't know, a week or something. It was like 10,000 players.
Jesus.
What was interesting about it is that hardware cheats were like a really big focus of that, where they're like people using like Zims and all that stuff to like cheat at the hardware level and not at the software level.
Can get like aim assist out of it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you would know better than me, you know, but all you and your nefarious activities. But
oh yes, me and all my you watch my gameplay. You're like, this man over here clearly cheating. Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of those videos where people are like analyzing it frame by frame. They're like, you can see here when he snaps.
Snapped over. What do you mean? He's snapping.
Whatever happened to that guy that was getting outed in? What was it, a Battlefield game or something? It was something where everybody was talking about this one person who posted footage, and then people are like, he's snapping like really unnaturally, and then there's this huge debate about it for a while. I can't remember if it was ever decided.
I do know there's a content creator that will snap on purpose to try and like act like they're locking onto stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, why would you want to, like, I guess it gets you like people talking about you, but like, why would you want to have that reputation? Like, what are you doing?
Attention at all costs, man. This is how social media works these days, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to hear your take on Crimson Desert. Before you say anything.
Yeah.
I will say that I've heard a lot of various opinions on it. The most common downside is the controls that I've heard. Just globally, everybody's like, controls suck. But I've also heard people say it's getting a lot more backlash than I think it deserves, and that there's some real merit to the size of the world and the art and stuff in it. So yeah.
So man, what a topic. It is a fun game. The first 8 hours is very rough. I would say it's pretty bad.
That's
I'm not gonna
such
say it's
an
the worst thing
opposite
ever.
of what most games do, where you're like, the first 8 hours, great, and then it falls off a cliff.
So a lot of people like to claim that the game doesn't have any hand holding, and that's true, but I think it's because they kind of rush the game out, and I think they rush the game out because they're responding so quickly to like feedback and like making adjustments. But also like there just seems to be like issues with like certain bosses and mechanics. So let me explain. So the game starts off, and this is why I think I say it's hand-holdy, because the story is nonsensical at the beginning. Your character dies. There's a big fight between you and another faction, and you get brought back to life or something by these guardians of the abyss, something. But you end up in a town where you just are alive, and you now walk around and do a quest. Now, the quest tells you to go talk to someone. You talk to that person, and then they don't tell you to go talk to someone else. You just then get a quest marker to go talk to someone else. And so you talk to that person, and you just keep ping-ponging. There's no connective tissue between all of them, other than the people that you talk to are like guardians testing you to make sure that you're a good person. But there's nothing to actually be like, why did I go into the sewer? Because literally the game told me, the quest told me to go into the sewer, not that someone told me to go into the sewer. Does this make any sense? Right?
I don't know. So you're just saying like the narrative's not explaining?
There's no narrative to actually explain why you're going to these locations. It's just a quest indicator telling you to go to those places.
Wait, so you're like, it's like talk to Bob, he's in the sewer, and then you go to the sewer?
No, none of that. Nope.
No.
None of that. There's no talk to Bob.
I'm confused then. I don't understand. So it's just
exactly.
Go to a location.
Because it's bad. It's a bad start. It's a terrible start.
It's so weird because, I mean, almost every single development project, the start of the game is the strongest because that's what you start testing first, and you're getting feedback on it and you're refining it. And then by the time you get to the end, it falls apart because that's what you developed last and it didn't get enough testing and stuff or whatever. Yeah. But this time you're saying the beginning is just terrible.
The beginning is really rough. So
okay,
I know I'm harping on this, but basically what I'm trying to describe is you would not be able, like the whole hand, like they don't hold your hand at all. That's literally all they do at the beginning. You just follow a quest. It doesn't it's not you paying attention to the dialogue or anything like that. It's straight up, you are going from point A to point B because the quest is telling you in like with a UI indicator, and not because you listen to the dialogue of a character say like, oh, there's a person in the sewers and she's being captured or nothing.
Oh,
none of that,
okay.
None of that. She's just down there captured, and you just stumble upon her because the quest tells you to go down there with an indicator. Does that make more sense?
I get what you're saying now. Yeah, that is super strange.
Exactly. Yeah. sorry. It's kind of hard to describe, because it's just
because we're also used to having context text.
Right. There was no unless I missed the context. Maybe it's just a me problem. I don't think it was. But yeah, very, very strange. So it then opens up.
They're like, go talk to my sister Rachel. And then you're just like on top of a mountain somewhere, or what? Yeah.
I think you just end up in a city. You're just in a city.
Okay.
So anyways, the big part of the game is you are bringing your clan back together. You're bringing a community of the Greymanes back together, and you build a camp, which is actually kind of neat. You like have nothing to start. You do some quest. The person gives you some land, and then you slowly start to build up like a little camp. And then it's, houses start to get built up. I'm not at that point yet, but that's clearly like where it's going. So that's kind of cool. The quests and side quests really are not the main draw to this. The main draw, I would say, is exploring and just existing in the world. It's very pretty. I wouldn't say it's the best looking game I've ever played, but it's, it looks quite nice.
Yeah.
And then it's just trying to get like cool abilities for your character and, new armor and new weapons and stuff like that as you go along. The best way I can describe it is it feels a lot like an MMO, but a single player game. In a lot of ways.
So kind of action RPG-ish, but with like less refined mechanics or something?
Well, I say MMO because it's so goddamn big, and a lot of the tasks you're doing are not really all that substantial.
Yeah,
but,
fair enough. MMOs are like, just go to this city and that's your actual adventure, is like just walking on a path for like 20 minutes or something. And you're
there's a lot of walking around and a lot of horseback riding and stuff like that.
Okay.
I will say that the biggest critique is definitely the UI and the controls, though. They do not handle well. almost everything you have to do is you have to hold down a button and then press a button to click or to talk to someone. So I change it to my side mouse button, and then I
hold the
hover.
button and
You
then
hold the
click.
button and then you click, right? So you can't just walk up to an NPC and like hit R and shot from them. You have to hold a button.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Exactly.
They're like, we're gonna reinvent the user interface, and you're like, no, it's fine. Oh, they did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They thankfully have changed it, but before, when the game launched, if you wanted to go to your inventory, you had to hold down the escape key, scroll up to inventory, and then select. Yeah.
I've never even heard of anything like that. Like, this is unique.
There was no I. You couldn't hit I. You couldn't hit anything to actually bring it up. Now,
this has got to be one dude on the team who has some stupid amount of authority that's like, no, I've got an idea. It's going to be so much better than all the crappy interfaces that all these games have been making. And everybody's like, Tim, you're out of your mind. And he's like,
what are you doing?
Shut up and build it.
It's funny because a lot of, I would listen to Tag and some others that had a chance to play this game like a year ago, right? They gave this same feedback of like, these controls are clunky. This UI is unresponsive. And why are you not putting keybinds to your inventory with, and your skills
especially
and the journal
those
and
poor
stuff like
Tag
that?
guys. Doesn't Tommy uses some insane controls? So if he couldn't, if he couldn't rebind, he's just like, WASD, what is this?
Yeah, so you can change your key bindings for movement and things like that. So that is, but
okay,
it did not have, it thankfully does. They just came out with a big update that streamlines a lot of it, which is great. But it's like, why didn't you take that feedback, when people were saying it a year ago?
Yeah.
Was because you're like, people will just get used to it? It's like, okay, I guess that's an approach, but...
Now, if they just came out with the update, it sounds like they probably had it in the works and just like didn't quite have it ready in time or something. Because,
one of the reasons why I feel like the game was maybe a little bit undercooked in ways, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm criticizing the game a lot, but it's genuinely fun just to exist in the world and explore. And I am enjoying.
Beautiful, and
it is
the videos I've
yeah.
seen, and people are like horseback riding alongside these steampunk trains and stuff, like riding around.
Haven't encountered that yet.
Okay, there's some cool looking stuff in the world, man.
I just got to a place where I see like giant blimps out in the distance.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it has that mystique. It has that mystery of like, oh man, what is that? What's there's a huge giant building on the top of this mountain. What's over there? So a lot of people are praising but also criticizing the no hand-holding. And I also praise and criticize the no hand-holding, because on the one hand, when you come across a puzzle and you're not really sure like what to do and you figure it out yourself, it feels good. Like you're like, damn, like I didn't need to have a yellow sign being like pointing right here, or my character going, hey, maybe you should use your axe, Dad.
Yeah.
What do you do? Use your axe, Dad, every 30 seconds. So that's nice.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when they say no hand holding, I think it's an excuse, because there are some bosses that it's just jank. It's just jank. There's one, without getting into spoilers, it's flying around in the sky, and it's like a tutorial pops up. So you're like, oh, this is explaining the boss battle, explaining what you should do, and it's showing that you're supposed to use your an ability that will highlight its weakness. So you highlight its weakness, and it's the entire body of the actual thing that you're about to fight. And then you're like, okay, do I hold it down, the button? Like, what does it need me to do? I spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out how to even do damage to this thing. Yeah. You have a cloak that allows you to kind of like fly or glide. Before this, you would only glide down because it's just like a parachute, right? Yeah. There was never a way for you to go up. This is the first battle where they introduced the ability to you jump into the center of this nothing. There's nothing below you. Yeah. You jump down, and then it raises you up because apparently there's an updraft. There's no wind to indicate that this is going to happen. And then you fly up to the boss and punch them with an ability. And that's the mechanic. They don't tell you this at all. Like I said, there's no indication of like wind that was like a couple of times later on in the game, you come across things that are obviously like, oh, hey, that's wind. I can use this.
Super undercooked. Yeah. Your first QA session would tell you immediately, hey, out of the 20 people that played this boss, not a single one of them knew what the heck to do.
I was talking with Tom Graphic, who's also, he's a gamer too. He plays games for a living, and he had that very same, like, what was I supposed to like? I just have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Right?
I saw a video too where somebody was like showing how you open up an area where it's like it's covered in ivy and you can burn the ivy down and there's like a torch. Cool. But like they showed like you had to get like some really weird angle to light your arrow on fire.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They're like, you could easily try it and be like, well, that wasn't the solution. Yeah. Yep. Right. And you're like, no. If somebody gets even close to that thing with an arrow out, put that arrow on fire. Don't make him like angle at some weird thing and be like,
and you really do. You have to like really get it in there for it to actually trigger. Yep.
And it's like, I could see without YouTube or the internet teaching you how to get past that. Everybody would just stop playing the game there. You know, you'd be like,
and that's what I mean. And that's what I mean when it says like, there's no hand holding. It's like, there's no hand holding, and that's cool when it works.
There's no hand holding or quality assurance.
Right. Yeah. And that's the issue I have with it, is that there are some times where just like, I don't know what you're supposed to do here. And the game has not conveyed this information in a digestible way to make it clear using context clues. Another great example. Okay. So, in Breath of the Wild, or like, their puzzles can be tackled in multiple ways. And it feels so good. You're like, oh, they clearly want you to do it this way, but I did it a different way, and that feels fantastic. You don't really get that in this game. You get it sometimes, which I love, but there was one puzzle where you you move these things up and down, and they raise up, and there's a bar, and you're like, oh, maybe I can use you got like a grapple hook that allows you to like pull things. So it's like, oh, I'll use that to pull it down, right? Because you need to pull it down. Didn't work at all. It's like, okay, well, now what do I do? It's a flat wall. There are these things have latched onto. You're supposed to climb the flat wall that doesn't have clearly any handholds to climb up to these and then grab onto the thing. And then your weight causes you to go down and put them in the right position. So the tool that I thought, and I was right, you need to bring it down, didn't work because I didn't do it exactly the way the developers wanted me to. Even if I was using a tool that should have, at least in my head, works, as an alternative. So, okay. That's kind of also a sticking point for me.
Well, it sounds like they've deployed their mass QA session with everybody in the world. And, in like another 4 or 5 months, they'll probably have a pretty good patch coming out.
And that's kind of the advice
That's
kind of the advice I would give people is the game. I think it's fun. I know I've been very critical on it because I do think it deserves criticism. I do think this is a game that has problems. But like, if you get past the 8 hours, which is a huge ask, like spend 8 hours with a game.
Yeah, that's the classic, trust me, it gets really good by season 2. You're like, I gotta watch all of season 1.
Just wait 4 seasons in a movie and then it gets good, right? Like, I get that. But after that 8 hours, it opens up. It's there's just so much to do. I wouldn't say the things that you're doing are necessarily like mind-blowing or anything, but like just a solid experience. Like it's just fun existing and riding around and hunting. And then one day, you're doing mini games. You're, like I said, like an MMO, you're just kind of in the world and enjoying the experience, enjoying the ride.
There's
even
a lot
with
of
some of the stuffness.
There's a lot of games that get a lot of mileage from just having great world crafting, even if the rest of the game starts to fall short in other areas, because you're like, man, this world's just so cool. I like it. I want to be here. And it's like, I mentioned, I think, Forever Winter last podcast, I think, which is a good example of that, where you're like, nothing about the game worked when it came out into early access, but people were still kind of like, go on guys, you'll make it, and that was purely on the fact that the world design was
so cool,
super cool. And you're like, there's no merits about the gameplay right now, but the world
I do think there is merits to the gameplay for this. I wouldn't say it's to that extreme, and they do have some cool mechanics. Like bosses are unique where you're like, you got it is a puzzle. Like some of the bosses are a puzzle, and I like that. I do. But I think it clearly needed a couple more passes with QA and like ironing out like, okay, yeah, we haven't taught the players this mechanic yet, and we've done it in other areas. I think so I do like the game. Cool. There's no reason to run out and get it right now if you're on the fence, because like they're clearly seeing the feedback, and it's a single player. So, wait for it to maybe go on sale, and then when they hopefully have dialed it in more, you'll get a more polished experience. Because I think what is here, if you do vibe with what it's going for, upwards of hundreds of hours of entertainment. Like
Cool.
genuinely hundreds.
And eventually
of
you'll
hours.
get to ride a dragon. So there's that.
So I've heard. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Yeah, I will take your advice. And if I jump into the game, it'll be after some major updates. You know what's actually, I wasn't going to talk about this because it's not coming out yet, but I think maybe the 7th of April, the new Starfield update is coming out, which is going to like massively change the game.
With DLSS 5. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Better come with that or I'm not playing it. No.
I want my really freaky AI looking slop characters, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The funny thing that somebody brought up about all that stuff, they're like, yeah, they look great, but the animation is still so jank and the world is still so jank. So you have this weird juxtaposition of like, here's a photoreal face on animation that looks like it's from the 90s. And you're just like, that's freaky.
You can also tell that the AI is trying to like make it look natural because it doesn't have much to work with, and then the mouth just looks very weird, photorealistic, right? It's that truly uncanny vibe to it, right?
Yeah. Did you see the follow-up news to that story a bit where they're like, it's not an AI photo filter, it's using all this blah 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 tech, and then it came out that it was basically an AI photo filter.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was suspecting.
I mean, I don't know all the tech of it, but that's what the community has decided upon based on the new info that's been released.
They're like, it's not generative AI, it's something generative AI. It's like,
yeah, you're like
something before that, that's all great and everything, but I still see generative AI in the title there.
Yeah, it's geometric level Gen AI, and you're like, so it's Gen AI? It's
Gen AI, you're right.
Yeah, it's cool that you added a few more steps in there, but it's still Gen AI, guys. Do you remember that movie, and this is game related, but do you remember that movie Mortal Engines?
Yeah, I never saw it though.
Yeah, it's fine. I actually will say it's worth a watch if you just want to like sit down with a beer and a bowl of popcorn. It'll make you laugh. And it's Peter Jackson post Lord of the Rings being like, I want to make a crazy movie about giant castles that have wheels and eat other castles. And people were like, that seems insane. He's crazy, right? And they're like, he made Lord of the Rings. Do you know how much money that made? Give him all the money in the world. This movie had some stupid budget. Like the budget must have been astronomical. Because it looks good. Like the visuals of it are incredible. And you're watching it, you're like, how did this movie get greenlit? The premise is insane. Absolutely insane. I think they're in the city of London. And London's just like eating other cities. It's just pure insanity. I actually like the concept. It's fun. It just was... I think I fell asleep while watching it. It just goes on forever and ever. They're like, we're going to make an epic. I'm like, no, that should have been like an hour and a half. At best. Anyway, the reason of me bringing that up is that there's a video game that's essentially this. As soon as I saw the movie, I was thinking, boy, that would have made a much better video game. I wish this was a video game where you got to drive a city around and a city castle around and eat other castles. So there's a little demo out on Steam right now called Wunderburg.
Wunderburg?
Wunderburg. And it's cool. It's adorable. It's kind of cartoony style graphics. And you drive a little castle and it starts off little and you eat stuff and you kind of kill other things and you get gold and then you upgrade your castle.
Yeah, look at that. It literally is the movie.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I was like
actually.
Yeah. So somebody clearly saw Mortal Engines, or I guess it's based on a manga or something. So they saw the graphic novel or manga and started making the game. And it's fun. I put a lot more time into it than I thought I was going to.
Nice.
It's a roguelike, essentially, where, it's sort of a roguelike, where as you progress, you unlock new stuff. And then the next time you do a run, you can try it with totally different weapons and strategies. So you go in with your castle and maybe your castle just spawns tons of little knights around you and those little knights run off and fight other stuff for you and you can keep upgrading it. And now you've got like basically a castle that's just spawning units. Or you could pick different weapons as you upgrade and maybe you just have tons of cannons on your castle and you're just nuking everything with tons of cannon volleys. Or maybe you went for fire mages and now the fire mages are blasting stuff with firepower and magic. Or maybe you put a battering ram on it and now you're just ramming the heck out of other vehicles and destroying them. And
That's sick.
Yeah, they give you a lot of fun ways to it. The demo's not perfect. It's definitely, you can see where they're going with it, and it has some. When you start going down certain tech paths, the performance starts chunking because you're like, I don't think they quite figured out how to optimize like 1,000 units on screen at once.
Yeah.
They'll have to figure this one out. And there's a few balance, issues where you're like, well, this build is clearly broken, and then other ones not that effective. But that said, it's a free little demo, and they clearly have a lot of content planned for the game. And I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's solid.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's my game recommendation for the week.
Solid.
Granted, it's only a demo, but it's on my wish list, and I am going to play the heck out of it when it launches, because I like being a big castle that eats smaller castles. It's fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I saw a couple of movies, Matt. I saw two really good movies, completely polar opposite. Or very different, I should say. The first one I saw was one I've been wanting to see for a while. It's called Bugonia or Bugonia. Yeah.
Bugonia?
Bugonia. It's like a Greek word, I think, which is like...
It's a plant.
Yeah, but I think it comes from like this Greek idea that like bees come out of dead bodies or something.
This one with Emma Stone.
It is wild, dude.
It looks wild, yeah.
I got inspired to watch it because the Oscars or whatever happened, and people were like talking about Jesse, what's his name? The main actor from this. Plemons? Jesse Plemons?
Yep.
They're saying he got snubbed for like not even getting nominated or something like that because his performance in this was crazy. So I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it. His performance is crazy. It is such an insane movie. It's, I can say a bunch without giving it away because the premise is more or less shown in the trailer, where he's sort of this conspiracy theorist lunatic.
Yeah, he thinks Emma Stone's an alien.
He thinks Emma Stone's an alien, and him and his cousin abduct her and put them in their like boonies.
That's called kidnapping.
Yeah. And put her in the basement, and then are basically like, you're an alien. And then she's like, and she's like this big corporate executive, so like, it's huge news that she gets abducted, and like obviously the police, but he does a surprising, like, they're super incompetent, but somehow he gets away with the abduction without getting caught, so you're like, wow, he did it, and then it's like this, most of the movie is really just the like interaction between him and Emma Stone, where he's like, you're an alien, admit it, and then she's like, you're crazy, and she's like clearly trying to do stuff to like she's trying to get out of the situation using her sort of corporate executive talk. But that's the premise. It's incredibly well done. It's, you're sort of engaged with it from the start. And Jesse's character, you're like, he's crazy, but you're also kind of rooting for him, which is like a hard thing to do, right? When a movie does that, and you're like, this dude's totally nuts.
It's the breaking bad, situation. It was like, you want him to win, even though he's a horrible person.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and I love movies like that or situations like that where you're like, man, I wish this guy would just stop making the bad decisions, because otherwise we all really like him. He's really likable, and you can see where he's coming from. Highly recommend that. I can't really say much more about the movie other than that kind of setup for it. That sounds engaging. Check it out. It's fantastic. The other one I saw, went to the movie theaters this weekend, Matt, and I saw Project Hail Mary.
Without getting into spoilers, even though I know the internet spoiling everything, how was it?
Fantastic, dude. It was.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Truly, truly fantastic. And without getting into spoilers, so I went to see it with my wife, who has not read the book, and I was like, I told her, I was like, don't watch any trailer. Don't click on any article or anything about the movie. They're spoiling a huge chunk of the narrative, which is a really fun reveal in the book, because they're just trying to get butts in seats, right? They're just,
which I understand. Yeah, I understand why
I get it. I totally get it too. But also, I was trying my hardest not to spoil the movie for my wife before we went to see it, because I wanted her to enjoy it. Well, I just want to say this. When we got into the theater, got our seats, she gets up to use the restroom real quick before the movie starts. while we're waiting and they're running ads and stuff, they do a making of the movie ad, which spoils the whole movie. And I was like,
oh my God.
She miraculously was out of the room when they showed that. But I'm just like,
That's
this
good.
is insane. They're like, we already bought the tickets, bro. Like, you don't have to spoil the movie again before the movie starts. Like, it's insane. And movies have done this before. I've seen it where they run like a little like, here's a behind the scenes of like the characters and the actors talking about the movie right before you watch the movie. And you're like, you're spoiling stuff, guys. Let me just watch it.
Yeah.
Anyway, movie rant over. Wasn't spoiled. Fantastic film. Like, you've read the book. You know how technically challenging it probably would be to tell that story, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just if you're thinking about like all the challenges, like they have challenges from every angle, from like a technical level, from a character level, from an everything. Everything has to work perfectly or the movie doesn't work, right? Or it's going to fail. They shot most of that film with practical effects. Like,
nice.
They built his spaceship.
I heard they basically built a spaceship.
Yeah. And like, man, I did watch a like little behind the scenes of that, and it's insane because they had to build a whole spaceship, and then like they lit every screen in it practically. So all the screens have real screens on it, and they can change the colors of them to change the lighting in the scene and all this stuff. And the inside of like the cockpit for a spaceship looks like a 747. It's just insane. There's buttons and screens everywhere.
Yeah.
Then he has to go 0G in this like 8x8 set. So they have to do wire work inside of the most complicated set ever. And then the set has to come apart in chunks so that they can fit the cameras where they need to fit them. And then the set rotates because his spaceship transforms, which is not really a spoiler, but the spaceship transforms to give him centrifugal gravity.
Right.
So they have to rotate the set. So they built the most complicated set ever that has to have pull away stuff and wire stuff so he can go 0G. And then the whole set rotates so he can go like, and they did it all practically. And you're like, that's pure insanity.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Not to mention some of the other even more challenging practical aspects of that movie, which they shot practically. And you're like, how?
Which we will not be talking about, because that's the spoilers.
Yeah. Don't watch a trailer for this movie. Just watch the movie if you haven't had it spoiled. And I guess put in earplugs and close your eyes and just go la 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 until the movie starts.
Yeah.
Because
so like getting back to the spoiler part, like I understand why they did it, but reading the book and not knowing anything going into it and seeing the reveal was so magical and like just like jaw-dropping, where it's like, this, I was not expecting this, the direction that they went with. And like the rest of the book involves that twist. Yeah. So it's, I understand why the movie, spoils it, but I do think if you can avoid spoilers at this point, do so, because it's so much fun having that reveal.
Yes. Well put, sir. And the rest of the movie was just phenomenally cast. Like, everybody does a perfect job in the movie.
There's not too many actors, I would imagine, that like there's not too many roles, because
they do a lot of flashbacks to the, he has a,
I guess that is true. The flashbacks, they could have some good actors in those. Yeah. Because it's kind of a one man show, for.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like The Martian, right? Same author, Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. Yeah. Where it's not just
I got you.
Matt Damon on Mars. It's NASA back on Earth being like, how are we going to rescue this dude? Yeah. Houston or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's funny how many parallels this movie shares with The Martian, but also how much it departs from it as well. And it gets far more into the fi of the sci-fi this time around. Which is fun, I think. Like The Martian was good because it was all kind of like, all right, this is like in the not too distant future.
How you can kind of do it.
How we figured it out, all practical. This one, same sort of practical approach, but like, what if we had some slightly different rules?
A little bit more
sci-fi.
With?
Yeah, a little more fi.
Yeah, just a dash more, not like an insane amount, because it still justifies it's in the world, but yeah, much more sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, I can't wait to watch it with my kids. Probably need to be a little older because there's a decent amount of science in the movie too, where I feel like kids might start to be like, all right, like, what are we talking about here? You know?
Yeah, mumbo jumbo. Math? I don't know what math is.
Yeah. Space bacteria, you know? Like, I mean, there's only a certain point where kids are going to be like, all right, show me Chewbacca,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be, it's one of my favorite movies I've seen in a long time. So,
Well, cool. That's great news.
yeah, it's like, man, it's just like, I felt like a kid again in the theater. I was like, this is magical. This is a great experience.
Hell yeah.
Which is how I felt reading the book too. The book is like one of the quickest, easiest reads, you know?
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah. So those are my entertainment recommendations.
I saw War Machine.
Oh yeah. How is that? I keep
It's
swiping past it on Netflix.
Yeah, it's the guy who plays Reacher.
Yeah.
Who apparently is in the news right now for potentially doing some bad things.
Oh, no.
To punching a guy.
Oh, I would not want to get punched by that guy.
I would not. Yeah, I would not want to get punched by him either. But so it's very much. This is a spoiler, but it's the entire plot. A war machine shows up on. It's a space. It's from space, an alien, and it just goes around and kills people.
Cool.
And they so happen to be like they're God. What are they? They're basically. Oh, what the Army Rangers, Rangers lead the way, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, okay.
Where they're trying to become Rangers, and things hit the fan, literally. It's way gorier than I was expecting.
What do you mean, literally?
Like, as in, the bodies blow up.
Okay. I thought the machine had like a big fan and it was like chopping people up with its fan.
Oh, well, I guess maybe not literally, but I meant literally in the sense that like they show lots of gore.
Okay.
So it earns its R rating in that respect. Like you are going to see some pretty gruesome scenes. The action scenes are really fun where the camera like lets you see a lot what's going on and you really feel the punches of like everything that's happening, which is great. Turn your brain off.
Sure.
Turn your brain off for it.
It has one of those thumbnails where I'm like, this is not a thinking man's movie.
It's not a thinking's man movie. It's got a little heart to it, at the beginning with some of the characters but it's basically just a fun brain off movie fighting and trying to not die to a giant robot that's, super advanced but also not very advanced at the same time.
I love all those movies where like aliens are invading with technology that's oddly similar to our own or whatever,
Yeah, well, it's funny because they use mild spoiler. They use an explosive device to try and destroy it and hit it. It does no damage.
Sure.
But then the way that they do destroy it and the way that they do damage, I'm like, I mean, I get it, but just the power swing of this thing is so weird and jarring that you got to turn your brain off a little bit. But if you do, you're in for a decent ride.
Yeah. It's so funny like how there's not like a giant amount of good alien invasion movies, like Independence Day is probably like one of the most iconic and most fun, but it's also campy. It's also campy fun. Like War of the Worlds tried to take it seriously. But like also you would think that if there's an alien race that was conquering other planets, they might know what bacteria was and like microorganism. That's the funniest thing about War of the Worlds is like they didn't know what microorganisms are. I'm like, didn't their life start off as they didn't start off as like giant dogs or something. They started off as single cell organisms, bro. Like tell me and life began as what, a giant gorilla? No, it started off as a flea or a microscopic thing. Like it's so silly. And they're like, they didn't know. But that book was written in like, I think the like 1800s, I want to say, like a long time ago.
1800s?
When was War of the Worlds written? It was probably not that long.
1898. Okay, that's actually crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that they came up with that world,
it's pretty good sci-fi for that time.
That's crazy sci-fi.
We know
for that
better
time.
now, but yeah. So like if you imagine the first War of the Worlds was like people are fighting them with like cannon, like artillery
Was that
field
one
cannons.
of the worst, or sorry, it's not worst. Was that one of the first sci-fi books like ever written? Like, were they thinking about aliens and crazy technology with like laser beams and stuff like that all the way back in 1898?
I mean, I think sci-fi.
We didn't even have tanks back then, bro.
Yeah, so I think the notion like modern sci-fi is like a lot of space travel and stuff, and I think classic sci-fi would be like Frankenstein, right? Where it's still science fiction, where they're like, because it's sort of reflects the time, the tech of the time, right? Where people are learning about anatomy and biology, and so that's the science fiction that they would have back then, and so. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty advanced for its time.
The funny thing is, the pictures I'm seeing now, it looks very steampunk, which would make more sense, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's that technology they have is like steam engines and stuff. So it looks, the actual like mechanics of it looks way more steampunk. Interesting.
Yeah, I think there was like some sort of like radio broadcast of the thing, and it like everybody. It was like people a big event where people were like, "Whoa, is this real? What's happening?" And it was like a thing for the time,
I had no idea it was that old. That's actually dope. I'm excited by that.
Yeah. It's funny because you kind of like, I think Spielberg redid the modern War of the Worlds, and he sort of respected the original synopsis of the book. The only problem is that doesn't quite work on a modern setting where you're like, why wouldn't they know this? Like, you're telling me they built tripods and spaceships and shields, and they've also like been studying us for a long time,
but they don't know what bacteria is. I hear you. I do.
So they could have changed it and whatever, but it's hard to do alien invasion properly because a lot of it just doesn't make sense. You're like, if you have all this tech, why do you care about coming here?
One of my favorite alien invasion movies is Live, Die, Repeat. What is that?
So good. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. That's it. Yeah.
They're making a sequel, dude.
Yeah. We've heard they were making a sequel forever, but I'll believe it when I see it. But I love
Beyond the Edge of Tomorrow, or
Beyond the Edge of Today of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something.
The Precipice of Tomorrow. I don't know. It's so silly, but
loved that movie. I've seen it multiple times.
Incredible. Yeah, I've watched it a couple times too, because you're just like, it's a roguelike. The movie, whereas
it's literally a roguelike. The movie,
Alien Invasion roguelike, brilliant. Like, I love it.
Yeah, with Tom goddamn Cruise.
With Tom Cruise selling the whole thing with his super serious faces all the time. Like, this is real. We're all gonna die. And then they all die, and you're like, oh, like Tom Cruise dying over and over is like, I mean, he sells it every single time. And you're like, dang, yeah.
Great movie.
Such a good movie. Yeah. Sci-fi, man. I'm glad it's having a comeback, and I hope. I know that Hail Mary like has been breaking all kinds of box office records and stuff right now, which I'm so excited about because it's truly classic sci-fi. And Ryan Gosling, I think, is just selling all these movies essentially, where it's just like, this is a cool movie, putting butts in seats.
I think the age of the superstar mega A-listers is no longer a thing, because I think Ryan Gosling is a great actor and he sells movies, but he's been in a lot of flops too, where it's like, it's just his name alone can't bring in an audience. There needs to be more than just that.
It's true. I know, like, one of my favorite movies with him is The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe. And I think that flopped. I think it flopped as a financial thing, but I'm like, man, that movie's so good. It's like one of the best movies ever made. I know. Well, we all kind of know it at this point that theaters their days are numbered. They're essentially,
well, they have been saying that for over a decade now, but
they are getting less and less and less and less business, and they're becoming more and more novelty. And there's a lot more movies that over the decade that we've been saying this that have gone straight to Netflix releases, I
don't go to theaters anymore, so I'm partially to be blamed for this.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because they used to have that giant, like, the movie comes out in the theater and then you can't rent it for like another 6 months or something. Like, it was a while before you got to watch that movie. So
way back in the day was years.
Was it? It was a while.
Crazy. Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. So it's all changing, you know, but I'm glad I still get to take my kids to the movies every now and then. Although,
yeah.
Oh, bro, the movies that are coming out for kids nowadays, I'm just like, some of it is just too crazy. There's that
too much for, I hear you.
Yeah, there's like some cat movie, Dogman. That's it. The Dogman movie.
Oh, I heard Dogman was good. Was not good?
I mean, I don't mind letting the kids watch it, but a full like movie length in the theater watching Dogman with just like I had to stop watching the screen after a while. I was like, I can't take it, man. They're just subjecting little brains to so much stimulus. I'm like, my old person brain can't handle it.
It's got a great review. It sounds like you're the only one who's a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, I do think so. But I know I was like I'm gonna step out for a little while. Here's the popcorn and candy, kids. This is too much. Your old man
too much
can't
stimulus.
take it.
Just like Marathon.
Yeah, I need like a slow, burn, right? I just need like a slow cinematic type experience and
I hear you.
Little talking and no action,
I hear you.
Yeah, just like a meditative journey.
I think you should just meditate then.
Yeah. Yeah, I get bored. It's too boring. Meditating's so boring. Every time somebody's like, "You should meditate," I'm like,
well, it lets you exist in the now, and a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
Until you do it for a while.
I struggle with it, and
I definitely struggle with it. You kidding me? I go to bed and I'm like, oh no, I'm all alone. What am I supposed to do with my thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't do it. I have to read something until like the book's falling out of my hand.
You're about to
something.
Pass out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only way. If I just go to bed, I'm like, what should I do tomorrow? Let me plan out everything.
Existential dread starts to seep in around the corners and wrap itself around you until you're contemplating your own morality.
Yeah.
Just me? Just me?
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. We appreciate y'all very much, and especially to the people watching live right now, our Patreon members. If you want to support the podcast further, check out our Patreon linked below, and you can come watch us record the podcast live on Mondays, and then hang out for a little post-podcast chit-chat about things going on in the world, life, love, conundrums and existential dread, that fun stuff.
My favorite topics.
A little bit of F1 here and there.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether or not you're a Patreon member, Matt's going to leave you with some incredibly useful advice every single week. Matt, take it away.
So, my useful life advice this week is if you come across a pack of goats, take them out. Take them out. Easy. They take one arrow pop. Take them out. Easy peasy.
One arrow
have plenty
pop?
of meat to survive the winter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is Crimson. This might be advice aimed towards Crimson Desert, but you're gonna need a lot of food in that game.
Do not murder somebody's goats.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going out and just starting dunking on goats. That is true. I should clarify. In Crimson Desert, take out those goats. They have low HP, and you'll need the food because that's the only way you can heal yourself in that game. So, good luck and have fun.
Goat meat. Goat meat's not bad, actually. When prepared right, goat meat's pretty solid, I gotta say.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you guys for dropping by. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.